Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty fun. I actually joined the Silent Manga Audition and I've created my first one-shot manga. So my history with comics and manga is that I started reading them very young. I started out with Donald Duck. I used to get those to my house every week when I was a child, and when I was a teenager, I moved on to reading a lot of manga. Not been super into Marvel, DC, stuff like that, but I've read a lot of comics in my days. I still have a pretty substantial collection today. I'm making a video, and I've drawn some smaller, cute little comics when I was younger, and my most recent ones were like 6-panel comics relating to the short film that I'm working on. That was fun, but it's not super serious. I've never done something super serious. And along comes the Silent Manga Audition. So the Silent Manga Audition is a manga drawing competition. It's international, and the prizes are, well, there's a couple of different prizes. You can win some money. You can also get published in Japan, which is really cool. Both online and like properly published, like physically published. And all participants get feedback, whether they won or failed miserably. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to join in the first place, because, well, you get free feedback. Editing Sandra jumping in. I also forgot to say that one of the more interesting things about this competition and why it's called the Silent Manga Audition, and I can't seem to say that word correctly, audition, is that there's no dialogue in the mangas at all. So you're not allowed to write anything except if it's sound effects or text on like signs and stuff. So no dialogue, completely silent manga. And there's usually always a theme that you need to stick with, and then you have a period of time where you get to draw it and then submit it. And except for the theme, there's a bunch of different little things that you need to, well, rules that you need to follow, and that is like page count. Usually it's around 17 pages from what I've understood. There's a bunch of measurements and stuff for the panels and the margins and all this stuff that you need to follow, but except for all of that, like the baseline, you're free to create whatever you want, and it's a lot of fun. And this time around, the theme for the competition was Seized with Rage, which was, I don't know, that was very exciting as a theme for me, because, I don't know, I just felt like you could do something really fun with that. So let's get down to my idea. I actually had a completely different idea from the beginning, rather than the one I went with in the end. And I guess that one was a little bit more, it had more of a beginning and an end. I'll tell you guys why later on. And it was pretty much about someone who was hangry for no reason, and the other person obviously didn't understand why they were angry, and then they, got some food and got happy and stuff. So very simple, very like harmless, wholesome sort of deal. I even sketched it all out, did all the layouts and stuff, but in the end I just felt like that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I wanted to make something dramatic, and I know you probably shouldn't do this for your first project, but I'm like, they do these competitions like twice a year or something, and I'm like, well, I'll just enter again and again and again, because this is just for fun. If I don't win, I get feedback. If I do win, whoop, that's great. So I guess when I was thinking of the story for my manga, I wanted something that was a little surprising, and I wanted something different. And I'm not sure where the idea came from, but I ended up with like, what if you discovered someone in a big cage with big chains around their neck and arms, and you just found them somewhere and you have no idea why they're all chained up. That's the baseline for what I wanted my thing to be about. But I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you. You'll see it, because I'll show you the whole manga at the end of this video. And I wouldn't say that I stressed a lot with this entry, because I started it in January and the deadline was in like March? I don't remember at this point. This manga was literally the first thing I did as we went into 2025. It was sort of like starting up the year sort of project for me, and I entered it pretty early on, so I didn't have to stress about deadlines and stuff, because I don't like that. I know a lot of people do that, and I have done that. But nowadays, I can't. I need my time to finish everything in peace. And if something goes wrong, then I also have time to fix it. I actually didn't do any concept art at all for this project, because I banged this out in like 2 weeks. Usually, if it was a bigger project or something like that, or maybe I actually should have done some concept art, but I just went straight into it. Because, I don't know, I had this idea in my head and I just wanted to do it. So my story has 2 characters, the guy in the cage and the guy that discovers the cage. And their designs are, well, the guy in the cage has like very tattered clothes, he's in chains, black hair. He just looks like he's not having a good time. And the other guy looks a little bit more, you know, he has some jewelry, he has like a nice shirt. I don't know where the clothing design came from, just inside of my head, I guess. It's nothing special. It's just like a button-up vest thing. So when it comes to the character designs or the characters themselves, there isn't much to say other than that, I guess. And that might actually be a problem in hindsight. So the first thing I did was I came up with my idea, and then I started with thumbnailing. And if you don't know what thumbnailing is, it's pretty much like it's like a storyboard. It's like, well, it's a layout for every page. So I drew up all the pages I needed, and I sort of loosely sketched out approximately how I wanted them to look like. There was a couple of pages that I really struggled with. I redrew them many times, but in the end I figured out something that was okay. And in the end I ended up at 12 pages. I guess I could have made it longer, but it's that's what I ended up with. And then when I was done with all of the thumbnailing, it was time for me to do paneling and stuff. And that's just like, it's like the grunt work. It's like you're drawing lines and stuff. So I first sketch out all of the panels, and then I draw what's inside. Because I did want to be quite inventive with my paneling, and I just didn't want to make a square with a guy inside of it, and then next square with a guy inside of it. I wanted to be like people to stick out, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Obviously, it's nothing unique. People have done this for years. I like when artists do that. I think it looks way more interesting, like visually appealing on the page. And keeping inside of the lines are more old school sort of thing. It's nice too. After I'm done with paneling, I move on to inking the characters. I add the shadows, and I also put a halftone effect on the shadows. You know those little gray dots you see in comics? Yeah, I like that. I guess I didn't need to do that, but I like it because it gives sort of like a, I don't know, classic manga effect. After that, I might add some highlights and just, you know, add small adjustments here and there, some glow, stuff like that. And that's pretty much how I do all of my pages. It's very different from page to page. Obviously, sometimes it's a full cover spread, and on some other pages there's like 5 panels and stuff like that. I even have a double spread because they wanted people to have that, it said in the competition thing, and I think it looks cool as well. And then I just rinsed and repeated that for 12 pages, and it was time to submit. Submitting was quite simple. You just needed to have an account on their website, upload the images, and write all the, you know, info. They wanted you to answer some questions and stuff like that, and then it was just pressing submit. And I've been waiting for like 2 months or something for an answer and for the competition to be finished. And actually it finished, well, 2 days ago. And clearly, obviously, I didn't win. It's my first time and all. I'm a complete beginner at making comics, so I didn't expect it. But I did get some feedback, and I'm gonna get into that. But first, you want to read my manga? Before I show you the complete manga, I just want to say that there's a link down below if you want to read it and like actually look at the pictures properly. Yeah, it's linked down below. Go check it out if you want. But here's my complete manga. And there we have it. What did you think? I don't know. I'm very happy and I'm very like I'm proud of what I did. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff that could be improved, and it doesn't really feel like a complete story. It feels like the story is like half of a story. But you know, it is what it is. I am pretty happy with how it turned out, and I do know what I want to change in my next entry, because I definitely want to enter this competition again. So, the feedback. What kind of feedback did I get? In my head, during all these months that I've been waiting, or 2 months that I've been waiting, I've been like, oh, what are they gonna criticize? What are they gonna like? Oh, they're probably not gonna like the story because it feels sort of unfinished. Oh, they might not like the characters, or maybe they don't feel like he's angry enough, or maybe they don't understand why he's angry, and stuff like that. But here's the feedback that I got. I'm gonna read it out loud for you guys. Inking is a really challenging skill to master, and we congratulate you for taking the first step towards mastery. I've been drawing for years. God damn it. As difficult as inking is, this is a skill that is very important for professional manga artists to master. We recommend practicing creating clean and even lines at a variety of different thicknesses. My lines? I didn't even think about my lines. Keep practicing, and you'll get there. We recommend checking out our manga video tutorials for tips and inspiration. They criticized my lines. There was not a single thought in my head about my lines being the problem. At first I was like, what's wrong with my lines? I don't have a problem with my lines. And then ever since I got the feedback, I've been looking at my manga, checking it, and now when I'm like studying it more, like very, 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 you'd think you know what it looked like because I've drawn it, I've stared at it for hours, but now I look at it, after all of this, and my lines are a little bit wobbly. I can see it in some characters' faces, and in some places, I'm probably showing it on screen now, I guess the lines could be more, better, nicer. And that is definitely something that I will take with me into my next manga creating journey. My lines. Oh god, my lines. So what I will be thinking about the next time I make a manga is creating a better, more fuller story, creating nicer lines, be mindful of my lines, and I want to do more concepting and stuff before I actually go into it and not just do it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't know what you thought about my manga. Give me all the feedback and stuff below. And yeah, this has been my journey with creating my first one-shot manga and entering the Silent Manga Audition. And it's been fun, and I want to do it again. I have plans. So thank you so much everybody for watching. I hope you guys will have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!